The Marvel Cinematic Universe benefits greatly from the improv skills of its talented actors. From Tony Stark's iconic one-liner,
"I am Iron Man,"
to Florence Pugh's reaction to the superhero landing pose.
And I was like, oh, cripes.
Let's look at the best unscripted moments in the MCU. I Am Iron Man. In 2008, Marvel made its first foray into film production. It turned out to be a huge success and kicked off the entire franchise. According to Jeff Bridges, who played Obadiah Stane, the actors didn't have to stick to the scripts word for word. Director Jon Favreau encouraged them to improvise instead, and nobody did it better than Robert Downey Jr.
"I am Iron Man."
This famous declaration actually went against the canon, because in the Marvel comics, the public has long thought it was Stark's bodyguard, not Tony himself. But the improvised line was perfect for shaping the character and solidified Iron Man as one of the world's most popular superheroes. So Robert Downey Jr. continued to show off his ad-lib skills in many other MCU projects. I'm gonna sit here. Tom Holland was first introduced to the MCU in Captain America: Civil War, and his on-screen chemistry with Downey was evident. It turns out their interaction felt organic because the actors got along too. In their first scene together, Stark goes to sit beside Peter on the bed, and he tells the simplest phrase of all,
"I'm gonna sit here so you move the leg."
That was totally unscripted, as Holland forgot to make room for Robert Downey Jr. to sit. So the veteran actor instructed Tom to do it, while staying in character. Thankfully, the young star didn't crack up, and the scene continued seamlessly. It felt natural enough to make it to the final cut, just like other improvs of this duo. An awkward moment. Tom Holland revealed that their next movie, Spider-Man: Homecoming, was full of unscripted moments.
We kind of really riffed off each other.
The funniest scene between Tom and Robert was in the car, when Peter tried to hug Tony at the end of a conversation. However, his mentor brushed him off to open the car door instead. Holland revealed that he hugged Downey impulsively, thinking it would be funny. And Robert's nuanced understanding of his character led him to instinctively evade this display of affection.
And then when we did it, you heard all the producers laugh behind Video Village, and then you were like, right, this is something that we should explore more.
Downey was quick to make a hilarious quip in other scenes too. Additional resources. In Avengers: Infinity War, there's a small but memorable scene where Tony and Doctor Strange are discussing a difficult situation they are stuck in.
"We're now in a flying donut, billions of miles from Earth with no backup."
And when Peter chimes in that he qualifies as such, Stark fires back immediately.
"You're still awake. The adults are talking."
Holland later confirmed that Downey just effortlessly ad-libbed this bit. Tom himself also had an opportunity to showcase his talent more than once, but one particular scene stands alone. Heartbreaking farewells. When Thanos snapped his fingers in Avengers: Infinity War, tearful fans watched their beloved heroes turn into dust. But Spider-Man's departure was particularly devastating. Tom's emotional performance left the audience speechless.
"I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Sir, please. Please, I don't want to go."
In that scene, co-director Joe Russo asked Holland to act like he didn't want to go during his final moments. And Tom reworked the scene around this idea.
It is kind of improvised, and a technique I do if I'm trying to cry is I'll say a phrase over and over again. In that scene, it was, "I don't want to go," and I just thought I would say it out loud, and it works.
By the way, Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany were also asked to improvise Vision's demise scene in Infinity War.
They just know it's my thing. Perishing on screen is my thing.
Moreover, Paul shared that the Russo brothers accompanied their request with an unnerving reminder.
Okay, so the entire, the beating heart of the movie is now on your shoulders. And then they went off, roll the camera, and we were
According to Bettany, most of the stuff they brought up was quite silly and even embarrassing. But thankfully, the editors did a great job on that meaningful sequence. Now, let's have a look at the lighter moments of the franchise. Sincere words. Infinity War contains a great number of unforgettable funny lines as well, including Drax's totally random punchline.
"Why is Gamora?"
Dave Bautista improvised the quip, but the reason for it was hilarious.
It was actually Chris Pratt. He said, "You should have a line there," and I don't know what it is. And so I just started shouting out stuff.
And when he came with, "Why is Gamora?" Tom Holland nearly fell out of his Spider-Man suit laughing. The absurd question definitely captured the character's unique sense of humor and made it to the final cut. Bautista's co-star Chris Pratt also has an extensive history with improvisation in the franchise. The Star-Lord's antics. Director James Gunn revealed that he and Chris improvised a lot while creating their Guardians of the Galaxy films. Usually, Star-Lord's funniest moments happen when he's verbally sparring with Drax. But Peter is also kind of awkward, which resulted in almost dropping the invaluable orb. The moment was improvised by Pratt, and originally James Gunn thought it was a genuine accident. However, Chris confessed later that it was 100% intentional, as it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. And you can hardly argue with that, right? But let's move on to one of the latest additions to the MCU. Ensemble magic. It's not a rare occasion when the directors heavily rely on the chemistry between the cast members. David Harbour revealed that he and Rachel Weisz improvised all of Alexei and Melina's flirting throughout their Black Widow movie.
I think that's a credit to Kate Shortland. She saw sort of our voracious appetite for these characters and for this world, and she just kind of let us run with it.
In the Hawkeye series, Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld ad-libbed most of the scene where Kate and Yelena talk over mac and cheese. The directing duo, Bert and Bertie, revealed that during a rehearsal, every single thing was just perfect between them.
The improvisation that they brought to it was dynamite. We could just sit back at the monitors and enjoy every single take and their chemistry.
They even used the fact that Pugh liked hot sauce and Haley hated it.
Yes.
Florence should have probably been given a writer's credit for it. And sometimes the movie creators use the actors' real-life experiences to make their on-screen counterparts believable. During stunt rehearsals, Pugh was taken aback to learn that none of the superheroes' landing poses are actually safe for landing.
I was like, oh, does Scarlett know this? And I remember just being so shocked.
When writer Eric Pearson overheard her talking about it, he decided to put it in the script.
And it
He
just
was like, I'm sorry, I've been listening to this and I love it.
Now, let's talk about the MCU actor whose improv skills rival those of Robert Downey Jr. Keep goofing around. Chris Hemsworth ad-libbed smaller moments in Thor and its sequel, Thor: The Dark World, like crying "another" after smashing a coffee mug or hanging Mjolnir on the coat rack. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige loved these unscripted moments, so he let director Taika Waititi double them down in Thor Ragnarok. That's why most of the dialogues in the third movie were improvised. One notable example is the Get Help scene, where Thor and reluctant Loki resort to an old childhood game. Taika Waititi revealed that it was Hemsworth's idea.
There's a lot in things in the film which have come straight from his input. I'm very lucky to have someone around who's very invested in the emotionality of the scenes, but wants to have fun.
And we definitely can't forget this beat.
Yes! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Yet another off-the-script moment was the snake story Thor tells about Loki. But Chris didn't make it up. It turns out he explored Scandinavian myths as part of his character development. These were our top improvised scenes in MCU. And what's your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And thanks for watching.